serving the Republic of the Philippines for more than 75 years. Ito po ang Presidential Broadcast Service.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. over the weekend said that despite the successful dismantling of the guerrilla fronts of the New People's Army or NPA, the government remains on guard for possible insurgencies. In a video message, President Marcos reported that there are no active NPA guerrilla fronts as of December last year, but admits that the government needs to continue to enhance its internal security efforts. The president said that in 2023, around 1,398 members of communist and local terrorist groups were neutralized and some 1,751 firearms were seized. President Marcos commended the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP, the Philippine National Police or PNP, the Department of National Defense or DND, and all the intelligence agencies for their efforts in counterinsurgency. Let us now listen to the message of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Mapag-usapan din po natin yung mga internal security threats. Ika nga, ang mga kasama rito ay ang ating mga kapulisan, ang ating mga sundalo, ang Department of National Defense. Last year, nakapag-neutralize tayo ng 1,399 members of communist and local terrorist groups. Nakakuha tayo ng 1,751 na firearms, na baril, through capture, confiscation, recovery, and sa mga surrender. Ngayon, may maaari na nating mai-report na wala nang active NPA guerrilla front as of December of 2023. Kaya patuloy natin ipaglalaban ito at maganda naman ang performance ng ating AFP, maganda naman ang performance ng ating mga pulis, at magandang koordinasyon ng SND, ng Department of National Defense. Lahat ng ating mga intelligence agencies ay silang nagtutulungan, kaya naman naging matagumpay itong ating kampanya kontra sa internal terrorism.
And you just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Sunday attended the wedding reception of the Royal Prince of Brunei, Prince Abdul Mateen, who married commoner Yang Mulia Dayang Anisha Rosna binti Adam upon the invitation of Sultan of Brunei, Hassan al-Bolkiah. The wedding ceremony took place at the Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque in Brunei's capital, Bandar Seri Begawan, on Thursday, but it's a 10-day event that will end on January 16. According to local news, there will be a wedding reception and parade around Bandar Seri Begawan on Sunday, culminating in a banquet to be attended by heads of states. Prince Abdul Mateen, once named Asia's most eligible bachelor, is sixth in line to the Bruneian throne. The 32-year-old prince is the Sultan's 10th son, a helicopter pilot, a Royal Brunei Air Force major, and plays polo. His 29-year-old bride is a businesswoman who owns a fashion brand and a tourism company. The reported 5,000 wedding guests, including or included royalty from Saudi Arabia and Jordan, as well as Indonesia's President Joko Widodo and President Marcos. Diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Brunei were established on January 1, 1984, when the Philippine Consulate General in Bandar Seri Begawan was elevated to an embassy, followed by the opening of the Embassy of Brunei Darussalam in Makati City. Brunei is home to over 22,000 Filipino workers.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA over the weekend said that the Iranian embassy has promised to extend assistance to the agency's request for the release of its nationals who were crew members of an oil tanker that Iran seized in the Gulf of Oman. In an interview, DFA Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, Eduardo Jose de Vega, said Iranian Ambassador to the Philippines, Alireza Tutuntian, confirmed the capture of the ship and promised to assist in the release of the 18 seafarers. Undersecretary De Vega said the DFA is still waiting for a report from the Philippine Embassy in Iran, and so far there is no indication that the seafarers are being harmed or mistreated. The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, on the other hand, is in touch with the families of the 18 seafarers to extend necessary assistance. DMW Officer in Charge, Undersecretary Hans Leo Kakdak, said the DMW is closely coordinating with the DFA to monitor the seafarers' condition. Iran seized the Marshall Islands flag oil tanker St. Nicholas in the Gulf of Oman while the ship was in transit between the Iraqi port of Basra and Turkey. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations said that 4 to 5 men wearing military-style black uniforms with black masks boarded the vessel St. Nicholas. The company that manages it, Empire Navigation, said it was loaded with 145,000 tons of crude oil and was carrying 18 Filipinos and 1 Greek person as crew.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, in response to the calls of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., the 24/7 VIP lounge for overseas Filipino workers or OFWs was opened at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA Terminal 1. House Speaker Martin Romualdez, along with Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA Administrator Arnel Ignacio, personally visited the lounge. The House Speaker said that OFWs will now have a place to call their own at NAIA, similar to premium lounges being enjoyed by privileged travelers. According to Speaker Romualdez, this is just one of many OFW VIP lounges that will be opened in different international airports across the country, including Clark, Cebu, and Davao, which will be used by OFWs leaving for their work abroad. This will serve as part of President Marcos Jr.'s legacy, a small token of appreciation to the sacrifices of OFWs who are the country's modern-day heroes. The lounge is located at the 4th floor of NAIA Terminal 1, near the pre-departure area, and another VIP lounge will be open soon at Terminal 3. OFWs with any form of ticket can use the VIP lounge for free. It has comfortable seating, Wi-Fi, charging stations, power outlets, food and drinks, and a help desk. The idea of opening an OFW lounge was first brought up by Zamboanga Sibukay or Sibugay Representative Walter Palma, who filed a resolution for the creation of the lounge.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Department of Migrant Workers or DMW is coordinating with New Zealand employers that are willing to employ the more than 500 overseas Filipino workers or OFWs who lost their jobs due to the closure of ELE group of companies. In a news forum, the MW Undersecretary Patricia Yvonne Kaunan said the Philippine government has already provided 1,050 New Zealand dollars to about 107 eligible recipients and is currently processing about 350 other OFWs. The one-time financial assistance will be given to OFWs laid off at ELE Holdings Limited, ELE Management Limited, ELE Limited, and Transport Solutions Limited. The DMW, Undersecretary Kaunan said, is coordinating with different employers in New Zealand to see if they would be willing to hire the affected OFWs. Kaunan said that financial assistance is just one thing. What is important is that OFWs will be given jobs in New Zealand. Earlier, Philippine Ambassador to New Zealand Kia Christian Azucena met with a number of laid-off OFWs and conveyed that the financial assistance was an expression of the Philippine government's steadfast commitment to the welfare of overseas Filipinos, especially those in distress. The company filed for bankruptcy just days before the Christmas holidays, affecting more than 500 Filipino workers who were holders of both work visas and resident visas. The Philippine Embassy in Wellington said Filipinos holding work visas are permitted to find new employment under New Zealand regulations, but this process would take about 2 months.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on the DMW, the Philippine Department of Migrant Workers or DMW and the Anti-Money Laundering Council or AMLC have signed an agreement that will run after and prosecute traffickers and illegal recruiters. DMW Officer in Charge Hans Leo Kakdak and AMLC Executive Director Matthew David signed the agreement that would strengthen the partnership between the two agencies in the fight against trafficking and illegal recruitment. Both the DMW and AMLC will help each other in the investigation, prosecution, and confiscate the assets of the offenders. The initiative is to protect the rights of migrant workers. In relation to this, the DMW urged OFWs who fell victims to any crime in relation to the solicitation of money to seek the free legal assistance from the DMW Migrant Workers Protection Bureau. OFW victims may contact the DMW through its social media platforms in order to file cases against the offenders.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Department of Migrant Workers or DMW over the weekend said that Germany has expressed its interest in hiring Filipino skilled workers after official visit of German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock to Manila last week. In a news forum, the MW Undersecretary Patricia Yvonne Kaunan said that besides nurses, Germany would like to hire electricians, electrical engineers, and different kinds of workers in the hospitality sector. The DMW Undersecretary said the Philippines and Germany recently signed a joint declaration of interest on the recruitment of overseas Filipino workers or OFWs. Kaunan added that no less than Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. laid down the conditions in order to ensure that the country would not suffer from labor shortage. Following the government-to-government program that allowed hundreds of Filipino nurses to work in the European nation dubbed as Triple Win, Both countries agreed to pursue its relations through the labor force. Germany had also begun the phased implementation of its Skilled Migration Act in November, indicating its intention to welcome more skilled workers. The German embassy in Manila earlier said the new law creates even better incentives for Filipino skilled workers to consider working in Germany. During Foreign Minister Baerbock's courtesy call at Malacañang Palace, President Marcos announced he will visit Germany on the 12th of March.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, Washington announced that United States President Joe Biden will be sending a presidential trade and investment mission to Manila from the 11th to the 12th of March. In a statement, White House National Security Council spokesperson Adrienne Watson said the contingent would be led by U.S. Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo. Secretary Raimondo and her delegation will engage with Filipino stakeholders to enhance U.S. companies' contributions to the Philippines' innovation economy, connective infrastructure, clean energy transition, critical mineral sector, and the food security of its people. Watson added that the visit would reinforce the Philippines as a key hub for regional supply chains and high-quality investment. The trade mission follows on Biden's commitment to President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to advance U.S.-Philippines economic ties and internationally recognized labor rights. This also came after the signing of the 123 Agreement, or the Agreement for Cooperation Concerning Peaceful Uses of Nuclear Energy, in November 2023 when President Marcos attended the 30th Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Leaders Meeting and related activities in San Francisco, California. The 123 Agreement allows the transfer of information, nuclear material, equipment, and components directly between the two states.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.